Super League fixtures this week. It's round 2 and we're getting it all done by Friday night, Mark. We'll start on Thursday over in West Hull. FC take on the Catalan Dragons. Big trip away for the Frenchmen. How do you see this one going?
I expect Hull to have a good home start to the season, to their first home game of the campaign. Mark Sneyd, hasn't he, has just extended his deal to, I think the club took up the option that was already built into the contract, so that's good news for them, and I'm sure that will be carried into the feel-good factor for the side as their season gets on. And plus they put a few whippings on Catalan at home in recent times, it feels like. So I'm 26-14, I'm going to say. I don't think Catalan have got things nailed down just quite yet, despite what they did against Warrington. I don't see that they would have won that Warrington game despite all the opportunities they had were gifted to them by Paul Warrington play if they were away from home, and they are away from home in this game.
Catalan were looking a bit better away from home last year, but I don't think with the turnover players that's going to be something that carries on in 2017. So I'm going for a home victory as well. I'm looking forward to this being on TV because it's two quite big beefy packs going up against each other, and I always enjoy that. But I think at home in front of the faithful, Hull FC are going to have more than enough to take care of the Dragons. 24 points to 10 I've gone for in favour of the home team. The Sky game on Friday night then sees Wigan take on Widnes, and oh how times have changed since the last time we watched this game, Mark, around about this time last year when Wigan beat you, when Widnes beat you to go top of the table. Not something that I think is going to repeat itself this time round. I think your boys, on the back of that very strong performance against the Cronulla Sharks last weekend, even though Widnes have had an extra week to fix up and try and improve things, I just think your boys are going to be far too strong for them. And like I say, I continue to worry for Widnes, particularly since their half-back problem only seems to be getting worse, which leads me to think that there'll be a lack of creativity and a lack of service and a lack of balls for Rhys Hambry to get on to the end of. 32 points to 6 in a big win for the Warriors for me.
I don't see it being a big win just because, one, these two sides served up some of the worst games of 2016.
That's true.
And I think it's shocking that this game's got put on TV ahead of Lee against Saints, Salford against Leeds,
Warrington against Castleford,
or particularly Warrington Castleford at the end. Surely more entertainment was on offer elsewhere for Sky cameras, but maybe they sense a story, maybe they just want to follow up the World Club Challenge victory by celebrating with the winners, or maybe they just couldn't be arsed moving the equipment.
Maybe they just have to have Widnes on TV a certain number of times and they're getting them out of the way now.
But in all seriousness, I think there will be a bit of a hangover from the celebrations, but we've got such a wide squad to pick from. I mean, there's a few extra lads got game time at Swinton this week. I don't know if you picked up on that. So someone like a Navarrete maybe could make their Wigan bow in this, and I'm sure the squad won't do us any harm for the players with the players we do have to bring in. 20 points to 10. I do think what you say about Widnes' half-back creativity issues and general strike power. I just think there's too many question marks over Widnes to be tipping them even at this stage.
Another team with question marks over them.
You never know though. They're going to smash us, won't they?
Yeah, they'll probably do you by 20 points at this point. This way, won't they? Hat-trick for Charlie Runciman. Lee take on St Helens then at the Sports Village on Friday night. Their second home game in a week. I'd like to say that Lee can get out of the blocks early again and put the mockers on St Helens, which they might well do. That's been kind of their arc so far. But up against this Saints side, I think a Lee team that have been moderate in attack are going to struggle to break St Helens down. I think we're going to see a relatively low scoring affair, and Saints will back themselves in defence against this pack and against the one half-back that seems to be doing anything for Lee and Josh Drinkwater. So I'm going to go 14 points to 8 in favour of St Helens. Low scoring. We're going to get to admire. We're not going to get to because it's not on TV. But if it were on TV, you'd get to admire the strong defensive chops of this St Helens side. And I'm afraid that's 3 games and 3 defeats for Lee in my book.
Yeah, I think the same to you. I think there'll be a bit more points because I think Lee will jump out to a good start, and I think St Helens though will be able to score more points than they did against the Leeds side. I don't think Lee have got quite the same defensive chops as Leeds have, and added to that, I think St Helens will have had those two young half-backs having an extra couple of weeks to learn each other's games a bit more because they won't have played much together. You might see a bit more settled outside back set up because they obviously had to change in game with the Lomax head injury a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I think that there'll be more scope for them to score a few more points. Their goal line defence is what it is. Lee aren't going to score any more than 3 tries at most against them, I don't feel.
No.
So 26-16 in favour of St Helens.
A lot of points. Okay, at the same time on Friday night down at Headingley, Leeds will be taking on the Salford Red Devils. This was one of the harder ones to pick for me. I've gone with home advantage. I actually think Salford probably the more creative side with a bit more of a functioning attack, but eventually it's going to have to start clicking for Leeds, and let's see if Friday night isn't the night in front of the Headingley faithful.
Evenly matched sides, but I'm going to look back over the last 3 halves of rugby these two teams have played, and only one of them's really scored tries, particularly given that Leeds only scored tries in the first half against Lee, and then the second half of both the previous games they haven't scored any points.
Yeah.
Salford have come on strong in both second halves, and I think that, like I say, I think the sides are evenly matched. I think Salford have just got a bit more going in the right direction at the moment, so I'm going to tip them, and I'm going to go 28 points to 20 for the visiting Salford Red Devils.
That is legitimate. I take all your points there. Huddersfield face Wakefield down at the John Smiths, Mark. What say ye?
I'm going for a fairly comfortable win for Huddersfield. 32 points to 16 is the scoreline I am tipping. I liked what I saw from Huddersfield. I think the things that they need to fix up are things they can fix up. They can, stop themselves getting too giddy. They're going to be driven behind a really good pack this year, it seems. And even though I'd have had Adam O'Brien in the squad before now, and Hinchcliffe's packing up the back of the scrum, maybe Hinchcliffe's doing a solid job, and Cruz Lehman's doing a dynamic job when he comes on. So I think they'll be guided round quite well as well. At home there, Danny Brough knows every blade of grass, and I just think a Wakefield side that's still gelling together and have a boom or bust pack rather than a consistent pack, I feel, compared to their opponents. That's why I go with that, but what do you say?
No, I agree with you. I think Huddersfield have got the superior pack, and it really did only come down to goal kicking last week, and I think on another night that might have closed the margin, and if not, got Huddersfield into the position where they could have drawn and gone on to win the game.
Well, it was penalties, weren't it?
Exactly.
As well, yeah.
So there wasn't that much between them and Salford looked pretty good. That leads me to think that Huddersfield are going to have more than enough for Wakefield. Like you say, big, strong pack, experienced halfback who knows how to guide that team around, and some dynamic players outside him. Again, exciting to see how Alex Mellor will do if he stays in the team. Lee Gaskell at fullback is a good option for me. If you can help him out defensively, he knows how to chime into the line. He knows how to break. He can break a line, and if he's coming in at a broken play, that's ideal for Lee Gaskell, and he'll make big meters and score tries for you.
I can't remember who I had the Twitter chat with on Thursday night. Someone was saying about never seen Lee Gaskell before at fullback, and I was saying it keeps him out of the way, so it reduces his turnstile opportunities, and within 2 sets from that he was
this way, boys, through you come,
spinning on the spot as the Salford attacking players went through.
Yeah, he's like a roulette wheel, that kid. But I do like him at fullback, and I think that's probably the safest place for him in Super League. Friday night's game then, so 22 points to 16 for me in favour of the Giants. Final game of the weekend sees Warrington take on Castleford in what I'd like to call the Why Is This Not on Television derby. Big points in this one, 2 cracking packs with some really exciting dynamic halves and fullbacks, all squaring off against each other on a Friday night at the Halliwell Jones. I'm going to give it to Warrington based on home advantage. I really like Castleford this year, but Wyatt looks so good against the Broncos, even without Chris Hill. So lots of points, close run game, probably very exciting, could go either way. I'll say 30 points to 26 in favour of the Wolves.
Yeah, I think the good thing about Warrington and the way they're set up and stuff is they can score points even if the sort of intensity is out of the forwards a little bit. If the tank's a little bit empty after a big game the week before, they've got other players in the back divisions who can step up and score them points.
True.
And so I think exactly the same as you. I don't need to say anything more on it because I went 30 to 26.
Did you really? Fabulous. Okay, well, don't forget, if you're at a game this weekend and want to know what's going on, because it's all basically happening Friday night, get yourselves onto Twitter and follow our friends at SL Clubs. They're going to tell you everything that's going on, and you'll be able to keep up to date on all the weekend's action whilst you watch your own team. Championship game of the week.
Don't forget to make your Super Roo picks.
Of course, yes. I need to make mine now.
The dream team, obviously when that closes before the Thursday game, well, you should know all the 19-men squads this week at least before that happens, so you can make some sensible bench and transfer decisions. You never know.
There you go. Championship game of the week, Mark. What have you picked out for us?
I have picked out Bradford versus Toulouse.
There you are,
Tom. Even though Bradford are obviously nailed to the bottom of the table,
we're gradually pulling the nail out.
There's some green shoots of recovery there, isn't there? Certainly, and you've started to assemble a squad that has questionable character, but
undoubted ability,
and then a few more experienced players coming in is more to the point, really. Toulouse, fantastic at home, racking up cricket scores. Away from home, it's yet to be seen how competitive they can be so far. And so that will be interesting to see, because their plus minus is the best in the league, but their away game was a fairly convincing loss. That shows how much points they're scoring at home. So I'm thinking of going along to this game. Actually, I don't know what the setup is at Bradford now. I think isn't only the
well, it's cheaper than it used to be, Mark. It's about 15 quid in for you, so that's a bit of money saved.
Only the stand with the roof with the seats was open for the last home game.
That was more due to it being slippery, Mark.
Oh, right.
That was like a weather issue rather than anything else.
Right. And what about the parking situation now? The swimming pool's closed across the road.
I think you can park at Nicky Dunn's, or there's the other side round the back of the Odsall Stadium. I'll draw you a map, mate, and show you. I don't know road names, but I know how to get there.
So if anyone wants me to tag along with them to this game, then any Bradford fans got that.
Maybe Alan and Anna are at the game.
Get in touch,
fancy a bit of company. I'm going for Bulls by 1.
I think Bradford will win. 10 points, maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a lot. We saw some green shoots against Swinton, but I'm not picking against us. This could be a very important result if it goes our way. So Bradford by a drop goal.
Whereas it could prove Toulouse's credentials to beat an improving Bulls side away from home.
Precisely. And the Challenge Cup game of the week, Matt. We've talked about this earlier on, but let's talk about it some more. Who have we got?
Well, Siddle versus Toronto. When we're talking about the champions of the amateur level against the new boys, I think there's so much excitement in the storyline. Obviously, the expectation is a pretty much full-time championship level calibre squad that Toronto should walk through Swinton, through Siddle, but it'll be exciting and good exposure for the Siddle side.
There you go.
I'm going to go Toronto.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
by about 20, I reckon.
Okay,
but a creditable performance from the.
Certainly looking forward to trying and getting a chance to watch it if I can on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a go at streaming it as well. Right, that is the world of rugby league, well and truly covered for the 130th time. All that remains for us to do is to wrap up the show. So it's time to wrap up the show and the ever-growing popularity of the SLP Trivia quiz, Mark. I'm not sure if it's people playing along at home or just enjoying hearing me squirm, but it's certainly proving to be an entertaining one. So, what have you got for us this week?
Slightly different slant on things this week. What I've picked out, I've ended up with 8. I've drawn it down to a list of 8. Rugby league personalities, so players, coaches, that sort of thing, who have a link to both camps of the two sides that were in the World Club Challenge game. Now, I've given this after the World Club Challenge game because I think it gives people a chance to have caught up, because actually I noticed, and it annoyed me a little bit because I thought you might have read it on the Super League website, that goes through a few of these.
Just put my phone for an unrelated reason. I'm just going to grab my phone.
But yeah, because I thought they might have mentioned a few of the links in commentary and that sort of thing, so people can have a bit more of a go at it. So I'm going to give you a quite simple clue, I hope.
No. We're not caveating it with quite simple.
For 8 different personalities. So let's see how many you get of the 8. The last one I don't expect you to get. If anyone gets out there, then I'll be really impressed. So we'll start with...
is this the last one?
This is the first one. I'm going to go up in order of ease. I think you could get them.
I don't like this game one bit.
So this former Great Britain hooker played for Cronulla in 1985 and later coached at Wigan.
Sean Edwards. No. Hang on.
This former Great Britain hooker played for Cronulla in 1985 and later coached Wigan.
Right. Coached Wigan.
Yeah.
Oh, he's British.
Yeah.
Brian Noble.
Yes.
It's Nobby. Nobby played at Cronulla.